Hello and welcome to Flawed Masterpieces. This is my first video review. I've been away from the website for about a month. I've been posting old reviews from the older website, the older blog, positive reviews only. And I thought I would try a video review. I've been working on my eBay business for a while, so I've been away and I've been doing YouTube videos for that endeavor. And I thought I would bring it over to the film website. I started this blog as an art review, but it's basically a film review with a few art articles and sporadic reviews mixed in. But you know, trying to write reviews is pretty time consuming. I don't consider myself a writer, even though I have a degree in English. I haven't written as a hobby or just periodically at all for years. You know, I've been out of school for 5 years now, and when you try to write reviews, it can be time consuming, you know, especially if you don't know what to say, or even if you do not say how to put it down in words. That can be pretty tough. I admire those who can write 5-6 reviews a week, or even better, do think pieces and reviews. You know, I watch or I read Devin Faraci's website, birthmoviesdeath.com, and it always amazes me they can pump out some good articles along with reviews, and that's hard to do, you know. So mad props to those. But I thought I would try a YouTube video, and the film I'm going to review today is Sicario, directed by Denis Villeneuve, a French-Canadian director. You probably heard of him from the film Prisoners, which came out 2 years ago. It starred Hugh Jackman and Viola Davis. And the first impression of this film is that it's very raw. You know, if you've seen Prisoners, you'll know that Villeneuve has a pretty intense and energy in his films, and he definitely brings that into this film. I guess I would say it's kind of like Zero Dark 30. It's got a serious tone. It's got a female lead. This case, this starring Emily Blunt, and it doesn't let you breathe for a while. It's almost suffocating. You know, it's got the score that is reminding me of a Hans Zimmer score. You know, this driving synth score, and it's pretty intense. It's pretty vague, and I don't want to spoil right away. I'm going to do a few minutes spoiler-free. This will get into details. I don't like reviews that just skirt around, you know, the edges of what we're doing. But so first, let's get out of the way. This film has amazing talent across the board. First is the director. I haven't seen any of his other films. I know he's done some French films or Canadian films in French. I've seen Prisoners, obviously, which was his first American film, and but I was impressed by that. He definitely has a very classical style to cutting his editing his films. It's very low-key directing. You know, he's not a Scorsese that very stylish. You know, he keeps his film almost like a well-oiled machine, which is a good thing. You know, it's so many films butcher that. You know, they don't know how to edit well so that it flows evenly. But he seems to have a good grasp of that. So that's the director. Screenwriter is a new guy named Taylor Sheridan. I got my cheat sheet, so I'm looking away. Taylor Sheridan, he's a newbie. This is his first film, at least according to IMDb. He is an actor. He's worked on Sons of Anarchy, I believe, and a few other TV shows. So I'm not familiar with him, but I think this is a guy we should be looking out for. It was shot by Roger Deakins. Enough said. Cast-wise, though, we have a pretty impressive cast. So the lead actress of this film is Emily Blunt, the ever-great Emily Blunt. Benicio DelTorro, I hope I said that right. Josh Brolin, and Daniel Kaluuya. Again, I hope I pronounced that right. So those are the main actors of the film. And aside from Daniel, the rest I know pretty well. And I think they're all been nominated for Academy Awards. I'm not sure about Emily Blunt. I'll have to check that. But that's a good cast. It's a good crew. Good director, good cinematographer. So when you have all that combined, you know you're going to get something good. or at least something solid. And I'm here to say though, this film is amazing. You know, it's one of those films where it's very deceptive. You know, you think it's about one thing, but it slowly reveals to be something else. Now, if you know the title will give it away, but you won't see that coming. So we're gonna get spoilers now, and so in 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So the film is about an FBI agent named Kate, and she's played by Emily Blunt, and she doesn't have a lot of character development. You don't really know much about her. The film starts out with a bang. You know, she's part of the FBI, and they're on a raid of a house. And it starts with a great opening shot. You know, just a shot of a small town from a hillside point of view. And as the opening shot plays on, from the right side of the screen, slowly the FBI crawls into view. And it's a great shot. I didn't think it was long enough. It felt kind of short. You know, it's one of those shots that have a lot more impact. It was just about 2 seconds longer. But that's nitpicking, and you know, that's me wanting to do something with film instead of you know, seeing it as what it is. But Emily Blunt, she is the leader of her group. I guess that's what it's called, a group. And they are raiding a house of what they think are kidnappers. Now, much to the surprise, they find out that the people that they're raiding aren't kidnappers, but they have dead bodies inside the walls. And that's probably one of the greatest touches of this film, is just the way it's filmed. You see shots fire into a wall, and slowly it's revealed that there's a body in there, a bagged body, you know, a bloody bagged body, and it's very intense, very visceral. You know, it's filmed with I don't know what Roger Deakins does to this, but he films in a way that it feels like you're in a surgery room, you know, with the surgeon, and you're seeing something that you shouldn't be seeing. But I was kind of worried. You know, maybe this is too exploitive. You know, sometimes directors get a little too caught up with gore and blood. Even Scorsese does that. You know, and I was afraid this film was getting a little too into that. But I think it set the tone. You know, set the tone of unease. You know, there's constant tension throughout this film, and you know, I kept squirming in my seat. You know, wondering. Is it ever going to let down? You know, are we ever going to be able to laugh or, you know, breathe a little bit? The film does have a few moments of laughter, but it's pretty serious. You know, it's about this FBI agent. So anyway, she gets caught up in this drug trafficking crime lord, and she's asked by the CIA if she wants to help them out to track drug lord. This is where the film gets a little vague. You don't really know what she's actually doing with the CIA. She doesn't know, actually, so it's not a detriment to the film. It's actually part of the whole point of this film. You know, she's dragged into the CIA raid on drug lords, and she doesn't know what's going on. And as an audience, you don't know why she's involved with them or what the CIA's plans are. Now, the CIA, the group is headed by Josh Brolin. And he plays a character that's kind of I guess you call him an asshole, maybe. Maybe you call him an asshole. I don't know. But he's kind of a dick. I guess asshole, you call him a dick. But he drags Emily Blunt's character into this ring as they go to raid a drug member in Mexico. He tells her they're going to Texas. Instead, they go to Mexico. They cross the border. And again, it's filmed with long shots. You know, I guess probably a good 20 minutes of this film is just a car ride, not a single take, but a car ride from Texas to Mexico to go get a drug gang member. And it's shot from a helicopter view. And it kind of reminded me of Zodiac, actually, the way it's this overhead shot. You know, if you ever play Grand Theft Auto 1 or 2, the bird's eye view, that's what it uses. And I guess it kind of gives it that sterile atmosphere. You know, when you're watching it, you feel, like I said, this unease, and from this distance, you almost feel like you're a god watching these events unfold. And as you see, that tension will ratchet up. There's a scene where they're in Mexico getting this guy, this drug member, and they stop at a traffic jam, and there's a couple guys, in this car next to them. Emily Blunt and Josh Brolin are in this black SUV, and to the left there's a green car with a guy with a tattoo on his neck. He's got a gun, and it's a very tense moment, and it just shocks you, the violence. There's heads being shot off, not shot off, heads being shot, just eruptions of violence, and it's pretty disorienting. It's pretty sobering, I guess you'd say. That's a good word, sobering. As you watch this, you're starting to wonder, what are we doing in this country, And that's actually part of the problem with, Emily Blunt starts to question, why are we in Mexico? What is our involvement? She thinks we're just trying to take a drug lord down. But as events unfold in this film, you see that that's not really what America's intention is. I say America. I guess you would say America. Josh Brolin's head of the CIA department that's heading this raid, and I guess they're fighting for America. But again, I say America. I don't mean to condemn the whole country. I'm American, so I'm not going to bash America. It's not one of those films that's trying to say we're the bad guys. But I think it's trying to raise questions. What are we getting into when we get into these drug wars in Mexico? And I haven't mentioned Benicio DelTorro. He plays a very mysterious guy named Alejandro, who works with the CIA. You never really know what his title is or what he's doing or who he works for, at least not till later in the film. And he goes along with the ride with Emily Blunt and Josh Brolin. And I think his character is the key to this film. If you watch this film, again, the title is Sicario. If you haven't looked that up yet, Sicario means hitman in Mexico. So he is, spoiler, he is the hitman. You'll find out that his wife's head was chopped off and his daughter was dropped in a vault of acid from drug wars. He's Colombian, and he is actually getting revenge for those who killed his family. You don't find that out to the last 5 minutes of the film, but it's very jaw-dropping, because the film shifts from Emily Blunt's character's point of view to his point of view as he gets revenge on this huge drug lord at the end of the film. And that's where it's very deceptive. For the first hour and a half, you think it's about the journey for Emily Blunt, and then all of a sudden it hits you with this journey with Benicio DelTorro. And again, like Prisoners, it's like you don't know what this film is trying to do. You don't know where it's trying to stand. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's definitely one of those things where it gnaws away at you. Now, I'll be honest though, that's one of those things where, it kind of drives me nuts, but at the same time, it's usually something that I end up liking and appreciating. I don't like being spoon-fed my morals or my stories, being told who I should like, who I shouldn't, who should I root for. I think though Villeneuve is he's playing a tightrope, because if you're too ambiguous with this, you lose the point of the film. And I think the point of this film is trying to say that our involvement in this drug war is more than what, again, as I'm saying, we as an American, is more than what we think we're getting into. It's more than what we want, more than we can handle. And that's made explicit through Emily Blunt's character. At the end of the film, she sees Benicio DelTorro drive off with a cop in Mexico that he's doing something that it's illegal. He's kidnapping a guy, and she threatens that she's going to tell the government. And at the end of the film, she is forced by gunpoint by Del Toro's character. He literally has a gun up to her head, pointed it up, telling her she needs to sign a waiver saying she won't, that everything they did was illegal. And he tells her, like he says, you're not in a land of wolves, and you're not a wolf. And I think that's, if we're gonna do spoon feeding, or that's the closest this film gives you. And that's pretty, I mean, the way I took it is, what is America's involvement with this, and do we know what we're getting to? And I think as American, if you ever watch foreign, you ever listen to foreign policy, or listen to the news, watch the news, yeah, you kind of get that feeling, especially in the Middle East. You start wondering, what are we getting into? Is this more than we bargained for, or is this something we should be doing? And I'm not gonna say America shouldn't be involved in foreign policy, or not foreign policy, but the Middle East, because I think that's a very tough discussion to have. I think that there's no easy answers for that. But I think this film raises that question, though. What are we standing up against? What are we getting into? But again, the way I make it sound like this film is feeding this to you, and it doesn't. Because you could easily see this film as justified by Del Toro's character. He's revenging his family, and you kind of want to root for him, actually. He actually, there's an end scene. It's 10 minutes, 10-minute long scene, not one long take, obviously, but where he takes out just a bunch of bad guys, a bunch of bodyguards, and the way he takes them out, it's like you want a fist pump. It's almost like John Wick. He's doing headshots, and it's pretty rousing. But against at the end of the film, though, you don't really know who to root for. You obviously empathize with Blunt's character. I'm with Blunt's character, but it doesn't have any easy answers. And it's actually what really gets to that is the last shot of the film. So there's a kid who's been seen throughout the film with his father, just cutaway shots. But his father was a cop, and his father was killed by Del Toro at the end of the film. And it cuts away, Emily Blunt signs a contract saying that she won't, or she'll say that this was a legal raid. But it cuts away, and then to the next day, and it shows a kid playing soccer now without his dad's obviously dead, and his mom's watching him play soccer. And this is all in a drug overrun town. And as the kids are playing soccer, there's some gunshots going off, and everything pauses. All the people stop and look around, and then the gunshots stop, and the kids continue to play soccer. And I think that shot really gives away the whole film. It's basically this is what it is, and we deal with it and we go on. And I guess it's one of those things where it's kind of damning, a damning portrayal. There's no easy answers for this film. I mentioned Zero Dark 30, and this film kind of has that same vibe. It's almost like a documentary approach to it. It's a very low-key soundtrack, very effective soundtrack, but very low-key. Very serious tone. There's even a use of the night vision goggles at the end of the film. It has the green shot. I'm guessing that he took that inspiration from Zero Dark 30. But to say it's like Zero Dark 30, it's almost like an insult saying this film's just a copycat, and I don't think it is. I think it's very almost like a new genre, a new take, very ambiguous take on American foreign policy, where it doesn't really play, good guy, bad guy, this is good, this is bad. It definitely it leaves room for questioning. And I think there's going to be people that take away from this film that it's too violent, or maybe that it almost has torture scenes that play as funny. I was sitting in the crowd with this film, and they're laughing during a torture scene. And I don't think it was intended to be funny, but it started to make me wonder, is that a fault of the film, or is that just the audience I'm with is immature? But I guess that raises the question, maybe this film is going to come off the wrong way. Maybe people are going to cheer when people die, cheer when a guy gets tortured. But I think that's the tightrope that this film walks, and I think it does it successfully. I think it does it better than Zero Dark 30. Actually, Zero Dark 30, I think, kind of ventures into glorification of torture, not glorification, but approval of torture. I think this film's a little more even-handed, but nonetheless, that's probably gonna be a concern raised. You're probably asking, well, is it a good film? Is it a bad film? I hate those terms. I hate saying a film's good or bad. You know, and so based on opinion. So you know, every film can be good. You know, if you think about it, just the way you look at it. But I think this film is very effective, and I mean that as in all around. The performances are very, very solid. You know, if Del Toro doesn't get an Oscar nomination, I'll be very surprised. He has a very almost intimidating presence throughout the film. I don't want to say terrifying, although I guess you could say he's terrifying. But I mean, he brings this whole presence to this film that just it it makes you want to back in your seat and just whoa. But Blunt's very effective. You know, Blunt's a great actress. If you've seen Edge of Tomorrow, she's very good. You know, it's something about her face. She's got I know some people don't like talking about actresses' appearances, but I think if you're an actor, you know, that's part of the performance. And Blunt has this very angular face, but that kind of gives off this tough edge. But she also has these very very soulful eyes. You know, very expressive eyes and tender lips. And so she's got this kind of not innocence, but definitely this outer shell, this very soft outer shell, but also tough at the same time. And I think that's exactly what this performance needs. Obviously, that's, you know, it's just part of her anatomy, you know, but that's an actor, and that's what they need to do. You got to use your body for the performance, and her whole appearance works in this film wonderfully. You know, she plays this tough FBI agent, but you know, put in this between a rock and a hard place, and she, you know, she carries that I guess that's not scaredness, but almost like a fish out of water. You know, like she doesn't know what she's into. So she's very good. Performance all around. Josh Brolin, he's always great. You know, everything he's in, he always plays a good dickhead. Good, you know, smarmy kind of asshole, and you know he does that. You know, it's it won't give him a nomination or anything, but he's very effective in this role, and you know you definitely not want to root for him. So all around the performances are good. Again, you know, cinematography is by Roger Deakins, and you know it's almost a circle jerk at this point. You know, where people say Roger Deakins is amazing, but you know what I like about Deakins is he's not flashy, he's not over the top. He just knows how to film a shot and give it, I guess, just an aura to it, you know, almost a sense of weight, importance. And he does wonders with this film, you know. This film, it's edited very classically, you know, there's not a lot of quick cuts. There's even points of the film where we're watching a group of actors talk, and the person that's talking, his or her head is to the back of the camera. And while they're talking, it's probably a good 30-second shot without us seeing their face, you know. So I thought that was kind of an odd choice to do, that there was no cutaway to see, you know, the actor's face while they're talking, but very classical, very effective. He also does this thing where, you know, while he's filming, I love it. This is what David Fincher does, where he has the camera either track in or zoom in while the shot plays, and I guess it gives it that almost that driving feel. So very good, you know. So I guess mad props to the editor. But, you know, Deakins and Villeneuve, I think they're a good combo. They work together on Prisoners, and they seem to be a very, very good fit. Villeneuve, I mean, I haven't seen his earlier films. I don't know what, you know, I don't know what his whole deal is. I don't, you know, but I'm saying he's definitely an actor or a director to watch. You know, like I said, Prisoners, I was kind of on the fence about. I wasn't sure if I actually liked it or not. I thought it was filmed well, but you know, it's one of those films where it seemed to be too ambiguous. Where, you know, I was wondering, you know, where should I place my empathy with? And I thought this film did a lot better job. But I think talent-wise, this film is very, very loaded. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's got a Best Picture nomination or a Best Director nomination. I'm hoping it doesn't, though, because usually my films that I like the most, my favorite films, don't get Oscar nominations. I don't want this film to be saddled with that weight. You know, I'd rather this film be under the radar. I will say, though, that I saw it with a packed theater. You know, I was about 5 minutes late. You know, I missed some of the trailers. Wasn't late to the film. But by the time I got there, the whole theater was packed. So, you know, that's a good sign. You know, I hope this film does really well. And I'm hoping I'm hoping it gets, you know, it gets Emily Blunt into some good, you know, better films. Not better films, but more good films. She's a great actress, and you know, it's great to see a film that stars a woman. That, you know, so many films are just male oriented, and the films that do have women in it, they're usually a girlfriend or a secretary or something like that, or a mom or an aunt. It's great to see a film where a woman gets to carry the lead. But I will say though, that's very deceptive though. If you see the film, you realize by the last third of the film, it's kind of Del Toro's film, and you weren't expecting that. So overall, I would say this film is, again, amazing. I say go see it. I give it my recommendation, and hopefully I'll review some more films in this future, and thank you for watching.